Governors, you've both signed a letter along with Governors Kane and Byrne opposing the Pinelands Pipeline. Governor Florio, what do you see as the dangers in this project?
Well, this is, first of all, the Pinelands is a very large unit of land. You've got 1 million acres, it's roughly 20% of New Jersey. But it's also very porous soil. And underneath that soil is the largest freshwater aquifer, a reservoir, underground reservoir of water. If you pollute that from lost gas, oil, other types of materials, you jeopardize the drinking water for most of the people of South Jersey. So that's something that's worthy of support.
Governor Whitman, do you see this as a violation of the regulations that protect the Pinelands? What are your concerns?
I do think it's a violation, and I think the Commission thought that too. That's why they voted it down. And then unfortunately, we saw 2 of the members who voted against it replaced and put in with 2 others, and they still didn't get it through. And now they've come up with a scenario that bypasses the Commission and goes straight to the Board of Public Utilities. And that really worries me as a precedent. This is a biosphere. This is something that's a national treasure, not just New Jersey's.
South Jersey Gas has submitted a new plan that would run the pipeline primarily along existing highways. Is that change enough to help ensure public safety?
Not really. They've had some nominal changes, but it doesn't change the real problem we have. That whether you run a pipeline along the runways or the streets or through the middle, you're still going to have the problem with the aquifer.
Aren't there some safety measures built into either one of these plans that have been submitted by South Jersey Gas?
Well, there are, but you can't guarantee them. And this is a very special area. This is something where if you damage it, you have damaged it. And trying to rebuild that and trying to mitigate the environmental damage is almost impossible with an area as sensitive as this and the kind of potential damage you can get from a spill. I mean, we're still seeing oil that's deposited along the coastline of the United States from the Exxon Valdez up in Alaska, and that was over a decade ago. So this is something that it could potentially be enormously serious, and you can never say never.
What about the need to improve reliability for South Jersey Gas customers? How does that weigh into all of this?
Well, one of the things that's a tragedy here is there is an alternative route that skirts out of the Pinelands. It might cost the company a bit more money, but the fact of the matter is you can go outside the Pinelands and get to the state they want to get to.
What is your view of how New Jerseyans view the protection of open space in this state?
Well, obviously New Jerseyans care about it terrifically, because if you watch what's happened all the time, every year, somewhere in this state, there is a ballot initiative where people are asked to tax themselves more in order to preserve open space. And they do it. They pass it. We are in a position, if we were to ever get to the 1 million acres that we had originally proposed to share, to voluntarily having preserved over 40% of our state. I mean, we are the most densely populated state in the nation. We stand on the cusp of also being the first state that is absolutely built out.
Governor Florio, while you were in Congress, you fought very hard for federal protection for the Pinelands region. Historically, what do you think this area means for New Jersey?
The late 70s, when the Federal Pinelands Commission legislation was put together, I was the sponsor of it on the committee, and then that authorized New Jersey, Governor Byrne, to go put in a state plan, which is what we're talking about now. The comprehensive management plan is supposed to define how things work there. This new initiative really violates that comprehensive management plan.
Well, now this plan has to be approved by the State Board of Public Utilities. Do you think that board, how likely is the board to approve this plan, do you think?
I think it's pretty likely. I suspect that they will. I mean, they regulate South Jersey Gas, so there's almost a conflict of interest, you could say, but not. This is the process. I think it's pretty likely that they're going to go ahead with it.
Do you agree with that, Governor?
There's a political dimension to this as well. And the fact of the matter is the prevailing philosophy is not particularly sensitive to environmental matters. So that I think it's probably going to go through from them, but there's more to do. It's the opportunity to go to the federal government. The Department of Interior has a representative on the commission, and they're in charge of monitoring the Federal Reserve aspect of the Pinelands. So there's an effort to go and get them involved.
Well, through your experiences, we now have a better understanding of what's at stake on this issue. Governors Florio and Whitman, thank you very much for sharing your views.
Pleasure.
Welcome.